Hello, my name is Chris and I've been married to Sandra for 37 years. We attend Malvern Hills Elim Church and have been members there for 9 years. I want to start by reading one of my favourite verses from the Bible. Psalm 37 verse 25 says, "Once I was young and now am old, yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken, nor their children begging for bread." We hope our story encourages you, especially if you're going through challenging times due to the current coronavirus situation. Perhaps you've been furloughed, or maybe you're having financial difficulties and are unsure about what the future holds. Sandra and I lived in a very small studio flat in Epsom for the first 2 years of our marriage. When we went to get our first mortgage and had very limited resources, the manager from the Bristol and West Building Society said to us, "Don't weaken," when he saw us hesitating to sign the contract. We went ahead and we did not regret it.
Just after 2 years of marriage, I became pregnant, and because the flat was so small, we needed to move to larger accommodation. We had agreed to sell our flat to a couple in the church who were due to get married within a few short months. We found a 2-bedroom flat in the area to buy. On the very day we were due to exchange contracts, the lady we were buying from pulled out of the sale, so we were stranded with a flat to sell. I was about 3 months pregnant and no home to go to.
We decided that as we had given our word to our friends Gavin and Amanda, we would continue to sell the flat to them and trust God to meet our needs. Some other friends of ours, called Chris and Gail, became aware of our situation and very kindly offered us a room in their large flat just at the right time. We were very grateful and knew that God was looking after us. Just as we were about to move in with our friends Chris and Gail, though, Chris came to us and told us that in fact it was his brother that owned the flat and he had just decided to sell it, so we could only stay there for about a month. This was August time. In September, I applied for a job at a very large Baptist church in Reading, which came with a flat. This would solve the problem of finding a new job and a new home at the same time.
Again, just at the right time, when we had to leave our friends' accommodation, a larger studio flat became available at Tear Fund where I worked in Teddington. Tear Fund stands for the Evangelical Alliance Relief Fund. Tear Fund had a large office building which also contained some extra accommodation for its missionary workers to occupy during their furloughs. A missionary was just about to leave her flat at the very time we needed to move out of our friends' accommodation. We found out that they too, though, were about to sell the building to relocate down the road. What was God doing? Thankfully, we were able to stay there for a few months until our first daughter was born. It seemed that our faith was being stretched as God took us one step at a time and as we learned to put our trust in Him day by day.
We had a long wait before I was finally offered an interview for the job I had applied for in September. The interview was in December, 1 week before our first child was due to be born. We were both invited to attend the interview, even though Sandra was approaching her 9 month of pregnancy. Thankfully, I got the job and we moved to Reading in February when our first daughter was just 7 weeks old.
Our first daughter's middle name is Faith. We gave her that name because we had to exercise a lot of faith during that year, and it reminds us how faithful God was to us during that challenging time. I'd like to finish with a verse that assures us of God's provision when we follow Him. 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 7 says, "Give all your worries and cares to God, for He cares for you." We hope that you find our story of faith encouraging during these difficult times. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.